definitely trade. I'm way above my pay grade. Thank you. Hi.
Hey. What was your experience like with working with Cowboy Bebop, and did you have any similar experience with Cowboy Bebop, like outside Cowboy Bebop, that type of experience?
Where the experience outside in the real world was like that?
Yeah, or like other projects like Samurai Champloo.
Well,
something like that. Or...
Samurai Champloo was very different.
Okay.
Samurai Champloo, we had the client, the people from Japan actually in the room with us, listening and overseeing every single line that we did. And so they were always saying, no, more like original Japanese, please. And so it was very technical. Doing Samurai Champloo was very technical. They wanted him to sound loose, like the original actor did, but it had to be very close to the original Japanese. And in Cowboy Bebop, we really were able to play more, to the point where Edward made up songs. Melissa Fawn actually made up songs for Edward. And it changed the story a little bit. It just changed the feel of the characters a little bit. And in terms of how one would compare to real life or not, I always wanted to have that cool swagger like Spike. I had the deeper voice, which was the only thing that kept me from being bullied when I was younger. But I certainly didn't have that swagger, and I wasn't a martial arts expert. So I really kind of wish that I could have that kind of confidence in real life. But then I also realized that his confidence, a lot of his confidence came from lack of caring. And so what I was able to translate from that is taking the angst that I used to put towards voiceover and worrying and being concerned about how people would perceive me. I just stopped caring about that kind of stuff. So I was able to translate that from Spike, and it served me really well. So now I just go and I do my auditions and I forget about it and I move on to the next thing, just like Spike would flow like water. But as far as not caring about whether he lived or died, no, I care. I do.
I guess I'd want to submit, like, that experience you had with Cowboy Bebop, like the crew, was it ever similar, like, in other projects, like in other voice acting projects?
Is that similar to other voice acting projects?
Yeah, like have you ever had other similar, like that close?
There's been nothing like Bebop.
Okay.
Nothing like that. Yeah, and part of it was, too, that I didn't know enough to be scared before I did Bebop. Once I started working on Bebop, I realized, oh, this is really good. I really don't want to mess this up just in case somebody sees it. So that was the show where I actually worked out all of that internal anxiety. Once I got past that, I found that everything that I did after that was a little bit easier. I cared about the stuff that I can control, and I let go of the stuff that I couldn't. And I think that's what made the big difference. And after that, I just had fun. I really have fun in every role that I do. Even if it's challenging, even if it is a little bit scary, I just have fun. I think that's the biggest difference. Thank you, that's a deep question, wow. Hey, we have another one back there? Yep. Hi.
Hey, Mr. Blum, it's so great to see you again. I met you in Calgary the last time you came in 2016. My question is, what was it like for you working on the super awesome Megas XLR?
Nice. Megas XLR, for those of you who haven't seen Megas, it's an amazing show.
Chicks dig giant robots!
Chicks still dig giant robots, you're right. It was kind of a love letter to the anime industry and to pop culture, to love of nerddom, honestly. Giant robots and green skin chicks and all of it. It was amazing, and Cartoon Network didn't really know what to do with that show back then. They didn't quite know where to place it. It wasn't really anime, it wasn't really like any other original animation that they had dealt with, and it ended up becoming a sacrificial lamb for the studio. They had to have a tax write-off that year, and so since they didn't know how to market it right, they just said, all right, let's end the show and make that our tax write-off. And when they did that, we couldn't get the rights back and we can't continue the show. So it kind of made us sad, and after the fact, people realized, oh wow, this is really cool. There's a lot of really great Easter eggs in this show with nods to all over pop culture, sci-fi, film even, and music, and everything that we love. So it made me very sad that show didn't continue. I hope we find some way to make that work in future, and I still stay in touch with all of the people who put that show together. The guy who was the showrunner on that owns a studio called Titmouse that has put out some incredible animation, Metalocalypse and a bunch of other things. They're actually going to be doing the new Critical Role series So they've got a lot of really great stuff happening, but I still stay in touch with the animators from that and the creators of that show all the time, just in case. And I think Wendy Lees would still be on board, and Clancy Brown and David DeLuise. I think we'd all do it again if they asked us. So thank you for watching it. Oh, over there. Hi.
Oh, yeah, hi. I know that you did some sequel work with various games, in particular the .hack series. So when you transitioned from the original quadrilogy to the new trilogy, how did that change for you? Because I know you did Yada and Wise Man.
Yeah.
Basically the same.
I didn't know the difference, honestly. The honest answer is I don't play the games. So for me, when I go into the studio, it's words on paper. That's really all it is, unless they give me more context than that. So as long as I could match the character's voice, intonation, and attitude, that was really my job, just to do that, and then trust the writing and kind of go with it. So hopefully it played well from one incarnation to the next, but I just don't know, honestly. I rely on you to tell me if we did it right.
I know I'll never be the same. Shook my world so hard again. Wish I washed away my sins. He's a dead man walking, blank staring.